All right. We're honored today to have Reverend Laura Bennett with us. Pardon me. And her talk today for us is Entertaining Angels. I know from the sound of it that Laura's been around the world, and she's been in ministry for 40 years, has led 3 churches. She's taught ministers, and she just returned from a month in residence for Unity, Namaste, and I'm not even going to say it, of Mexico. And Ajijic, thank you.
Just treat the J's like an H.
Okay. Because I would have mangled that. Anyhow, please help me welcome Reverend Laura Bennett for our speaker today.
Thank you. Thank you. So as you can see, we are entertaining angels today because we are entertaining each other. And I will, I got the clear on it, but I have a fan running in the background because my office gets fairly warm in the summer. So can anyone hear my fan in the background? I just want to make sure it's not interfering with what I'm saying. Okay, good. So entertaining angels, and I'm focused on in honor of the people of Maui and the Unity Ministries there. I don't know their condition or where they were or where they are or anything, but I do know all our prayers go out to the people of Maui and Hawaii, and right now to the people of Baja and Southern California, as the storm approaches them. They've closed 3 national parks there and a couple of airports preparing for the storm there. So we just are in the wake of these things that occur, that are just unexpected, sudden, and just devastating for people's lives. We just hold everyone in our hearts. We know that they are in this process of healing and renewal. Many of the people affected by this, those who lost loved ones, who are still missing loved ones, and we just keep them in our hearts today. And today is just about that, because how many of you feel? I mean, how many of you feel it? How many of you feel moved by these kind of news items when you hear them? This is because we are never separated. Really, the separation is I won't exactly call it an illusion. It's an appearance, but we're never really separated. We all emanate from the same source. We all have the same human qualities. We all resonate with the same things in our hearts, and so we feel our connection with each other always, and it comes out particularly in events like we've seen in this past week. So we are entertaining angels today. Yep. So let's look at what that means. Yeah, let's go to the next slide. So entertaining angels is to have the aloha spirit. Aloha spirit. And Auntie Palahi Paki was born in 1910. You see her name at the bottom here. I quoted her a couple of times today, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She was born in 1910. And she managed to work really hard, really pull herself together. She was highly noticed. People noticed how brilliant and highly intelligent she was right from the start. In a time when women did not normally do this, and she managed to get herself a higher education. She managed to come to the continental US and get a higher education by scholarship because of her writing. She wrote a lot and she did a lot for people. So she was well known. She came to the US. She got a university and graduate level education. She went back with a doctorate level education to Hawaii. to continue her writing. She was a philosopher and a poet, basically, and a teacher. And at one point, she encountered a Hawaiian shaman, someone who had taken on the tradition of the Hawaiian people for, it had been passed down to him from generations before him. And he immersed himself in the mysteries and the secrets of Hawaii, and the Hawaiian people. And when she met him, she felt such an energy surge, and they established a very strong relationship. It was after meeting him that she said she really took on the depth of the meaning of the words in her language, specifically the word aloha. And here's what she said about aloha. She said, aloha is more than a word of greeting or farewell or a salutation. It is that, but it's much more. Aloha means mutual regard and affection, and extends warmth in caring with no obligation in return. Aloha is the essence of relationships in which each person is important to every other person for collective existence. Aloha means to hear what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable. So aloha is to extend yourself so fully to another or to other people that you sense totally who they are. This is what we know the spiritual masters through time have done. Jesus was a master. I used to call him a master psychologist, because whatever a person approached him with, he would look into them and see what they need, and respond to the need. He did this with Nicodemus when Nicodemus said, how can I be born again? Must I re-enter my mother's womb? And he looked right at Nicodemus and told him, you must be born of spirit, you're already physically born. You're born of water and physically, but you need to be born of spirit as well. So Jesus really looks into the depth of a person and responds to that. Or to the lame person by the pool, he said, your sins are forgiven, because he knows that that's in his culture, that's what people were looking for. But he also looked to this person who couldn't forgive himself. And when he was able to forgive himself, he was healed. So this kind of sensitivity toward others is what we're looking at today. And we're looking at it in the form of love. And let's look at our next slide. Love. And here is from Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 1. Hebrews was, how can I say it? Hebrews was written to explain the newly evolving Christian faith to the Hebrews, to people of Jewish heritage. Excuse me, my battery says I'm running low. It's a power cord issue. Let's see if I can get my power cord work. Apparently I did. Okay. I have a loose thing on my power cord. I apologize for that. Okay. So we'll just send it the power of love. We can all send love to my to my computer and keep it going. So to explain this, the core of Hebrews, what was it? Without what? Without works, faith, or you have to. There's the core of Hebrews was faith. It was faith. And excuse me, it's James that said you need the works. But Hebrews says that faith is the what? Substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So when you look at someone with love, you don't just see what's happening. Like when we look at what's happening in our world with love, we don't just see what's happening. We see the unseen. We see what is possible within what is happening. We don't just see what's happening. We see what is possible within what is happening. So let mutual love continue, it says. And in this case, the Greek word for love, and these later epistles were written in Greek. The Greek word for love is Philadelphia. How many people know what Philadelphia means? Anybody? What does Philadelphia mean? Brotherly love. Philadelphia is the city of what? Brotherly love. It means brotherly, or in our case, brotherly or sisterly love, which is the way they would write it today, frankly. So let mutual love continue. Let brotherly love continue is what it's saying. Let brotherly and sisterly love continue. Let love for your fellow human beings continue is what it's saying. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it. And I love that statement. Hebrews 13:1, do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it. Once when I was driving through downtown Lee Summit here in the Kansas City area, I saw this person driving somewhat erratically in front of me, not making up his mind which way he wanted to turn. He was going to turn one way, and then he turned, and then he signaled the other way, and just totally, as a driver behind him, he was totally in my way, where I was going. And at first I reacted like a driver would when you get cut off, or somebody's, doing erratic driving in front of you. I was just a little ticked off. And then I thought, well, what is really happening with this person? Because he did make a left turn, which is what I was about to do. So I made a left turn too. And I watched him as he pulled into a parking space, and just sort of stopped there, still the engine running. And so I pulled up a couple spaces down. I got out of my car and I went over to him and I said, can I help you? Do you need something? And he said, and he rolled down, he said, you're an angel. He said, I need directions. He says, I have no idea where I'm going. And so he asked about where something was, which I knew because I was familiar with Lee Summit at this time. And he said, oh, isn't it amazing how the angels show up in our lives? Well, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Every time you smile at a stranger, every time you say good morning to someone. Larry and I met countless angels every morning that we took a walk when we were in Mexico, because I don't think there was a single person, no matter how sour their face was to begin with, who, when they saw another human being, wouldn't smile and say buenos dias or good morning, and it just brightens your day when people do that. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that, some have entertained angels without knowing it. Well, don't we have angels everywhere? Angels are everywhere, even those that we never see face to face, and or whom we never see face to face. So what can we do? What is our hospitality toward people when we hear a news item that affects our fellow human beings, our brothers and sisters? How does love reach out? What is it that we can do? We're going to look at that in a little bit with the Aloha spirit. Okay, and next slide. This is our definition of Philadelphia from my book. As we all know, Philadelphia means brotherly or sisterly love. It refers to love that is mutually shared in a larger community. With Philadelphia, we recognize that we have a familial relationship with the larger human family. Through Philadelphia, we are awakened to our oneness with all people, and we experience the blessings of those connections. Because when you really awaken to and activate your inner Philadelphia, when you do that, it's transformational for you. It really is. I was so touched by that short encounter with that gentleman. It made, I don't know if I made his day, but he certainly made my day. He certainly made my day. Okay. There is another type of love as well that we're talking about today. And that love is what happens with the larger brotherly sisterly love of Philadelphia when it gets focused on a specific family relationships or a specific community that we are engaged with on a regular basis. And so let's turn the slide there. And this is our other form of love that we're looking at today. Okay. Love one another with mutual affection. This is a little more intimate. And we're not talking sexual intimacy. That's another kind of love that I also talk about, but not today. Love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. So if you want to know the spiritual advice for family and community relationships, for family and community, now I'm going to define this love in a minute. It's philosophy. Love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. And you can go ahead and change the slide on this one too. Philosophy. It's from the Greek lexicon of the Bible. The Greek term philosophy means loving affection, prone to love. We are compelled, we are driven by love because love is our nature. It's our nature. It's your nature. It's my nature. It's what gave us birth. We are prone to love, and it's loving tenderly. It's that intimate connection. And again, intimacy refers to our close relationships. It refers to our close relationships. It seeks out those with whom it can bind together in a mutually beneficial relationship, like a pride of lions, or a pod of orcas, or a flock of birds. So that is the love that you experience among each other. This community meeting that you're having, that Doug is organizing right now, to say yes, and if you can be there, to say yes is to say yes to philosophy. It's to connect as a community. And this is something I just want to tell you straight from my heart. I am very, very moved by who you are as a community. I believe with all my heart that you are, how can I say it? The newest, freest, that you are the cutting edge. You may not call yourself a ministry, I don't know, but you are the cutting edge of ministry. No specific hired leader, nothing but the community coming together to be a community and to share spiritual truth together as you know it and understand it in each other. And no one person, not even a minister of 40 years, knows any more than you do when it comes to spirituality. All I do is and after decades of book knowledge and teaching and doing ministry and counseling experience and seeing people through all of the things that are important in a life, in an evolving life, after decades of doing that, it just boils down to this. Hey, I don't know any more than you do. I just hope and pray in my heart that the words I speak awaken your truth in you enough for you to be aware of what's coming through you. So that's where I come from. And I totally, completely honor this community for doing what you do. This is where our world is headed, I think, when it comes to our spirituality. So thumbs up, good for you. Now, this doesn't mean I'm leaving the unity movement or anything, but because this is the kind of spirit that I'm working to, along with others, to infuse unity with this way of being. The unity Namaste in Ajijic is for everyone. As you know, in Ajijic, it's that's why it's unity Namaste. It's actually in Namaste village. And those of you who've heard of James Twyman, that's his work and his community down there. And he has let unity come in and do Sunday services there. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we have people there from all backgrounds. We have Catholics, we have Jewish, we have Course in Miracles, we have more biblical people. I mean, we have people there from all backgrounds coming in with this spirit of Namaste, which is not too distinct, not too different from the spirit of Aloha. Okay, which we are going to now return to with our next slide. There it is. So what can we do? What can we do to entertain angels, to be hospitable, to show our hospitality? And hospitality is more than having a good party at your house, okay, or having a friend over to spend the night, and have dinner with you. Hospitality is it is something that, it's like aloha. It expands to your global community. It expands to your global community. It is about connecting with strangers. And who are strangers? They are just simply people you haven't met or don't know yet. So the aloha spirit that connects us to strangers and also gives us that honor and respect for each other in our more intimate communities, in our families, in our regular communities that we meet with. Here is Auntie Palahipaki. After working with this Hawaiian shaman, she really looks in deeply at the words of her language, and she pulls out the meaning of the aloha spirit. And it spells, as an acronym, it spells aloha. She works with akahai, meaning kindness, to be expressed with tenderness. Kindness to be expressed with tenderness. So you can ask yourself, for the people in your family, what is the kindest thing I can do? What would show my tender affection for this individual? And for people in the world, what would be a tangible expression of my kindness for the people? You might want to, if you haven't done so already, give something to the Red Cross or to people who are providing meals or some, to people who've been struck suddenly by disasters. How can I make kindness tangible? Okay, there is lokahai and lokahi. let me say it right. Lokahi, meaning unity, to be expressed with harmony. Now, what is it that connects us in unity with others? If you've lost that sense, if you feel that sense of separation with people, then it's time to get in unity. And I'm not talking about the movement, although that would be what the spirit of the movement is. It's time to get in unity. It's time to pause. And like the unity prayer chaplains do, take a breath and go to your heart and just experience the individual. Perhaps it's somebody you're having difficulty with. Perhaps it's people on the other side of the world and you don't know what to do for them. Just experience your oneness with them. We'll be doing that a little bit in our meditation. We're going to do a oneness meditation. That's the way to experience unity. Olu olu, meaning agreeable, to be expressed with pleasantness. This means looking for the points you share in common and honoring the differences. Looking for the points with others that you share in common and honoring the differences. So doing what you can means honoring who they are, not just who you are and what makes you feel good, but also when you are challenged politically or otherwise with someone, look for what you share in common and honor the differences. There is ha-ah-ha-ah. Ha-ah-ha-ah. Did I say that right? Ha-ah-ha-ah. Yes, I did. Ha-ah-ha-ah. Meaning humility, to be expressed with modesty. Okay. Now, as much as we say I am, and we own it, and we have the strength and even audacity, as my friend says, to do that. Okay. We also know that we are no more than others. We are no more than others. And that's our humility. It's like, I am who I am because you are who you are. I mean, do you know that truly? That you are who you are in your life because others have been who they have been. Even your adversaries, even those who have given you difficulty or hurt beyond imagination, have helped you to be a stronger you. And to know what real unconditional love is. And to also know what it is that you can love and release a relationship as well, if you need to, but still the love is there. So you are who you are because others are who they are in your life. And finally, ahanui, meaning patience, to be expressed with perseverance. We are in such an instant society. We want it now. Again, deep breath. I'm a very impatient person. Just ask my husband. I'm a very impatient person. Until I realize and reflect on my life that I can't think of a single thing in my entire life that didn't happen in its right time. I think I got an amen from the other room for my husband for this. I just heard it in the background. I can't think of a single thing that didn't happen in its right time. And that is what we need to remember, is that what is in charge of our lives? Spirit, aloha spirit. And with that in charge, how can anything be out of its perfect timing? Okay. And so those are the ways we can awaken the Philadelphia and the Philostergos and keep them active in us. So our final question today, okay, so I'm just going to review them real quickly. Akahai, kindness and tenderness. What can I do to tangibly express kindness and tenderness? Lokahi, meaning unity. Take a moment to remember your oneness. Olu, meaning look for where you are agreeable, with things you have in common, and honor the differences. Ha'a, meaning humility. Remember, you wouldn't be who you are if people in your life weren't who they are. And ahunui, meaning patience. Be patient. All things happen in their right time. And let's move to the next. This is the spirit. This is our woman we're talking about today. Palahipaki. And she passed away. I think she was about 75. She passed away in 1985. And the next year, the state of Hawaii adopted the Aloha spirit because of her poetry and her explanation of what that is. The state of Hawaii adopted the Aloha spirit as a statewide policy for its people to practice toward all people. So we never know whose lives we're going to influence. But she touched a world just by being who she is. And we can touch that same world. And I do believe we have music before our meditation. And what I want to say about this music is it is the perfect music for our message today. It is what we can remember about each other. And here we go. And let's take that deep breath and close our eyes and take one more deep breath and drop your attention to your heart space. Just let your thoughts focus on your heart. And with the third eye of your imagination, and if you're not a visual person, then just feel the truth of these words. But visualize your heart as a great room. And see yourself standing in the midst of that room. And you are there as the hostess of your heart, or host of your heart. You are the host. And you are waiting for your family to arrive. And so the first person to walk into the room of your heart is someone whom you especially are thinking of today. It might be for healing prayer. It might be for a relationship issue. It might be someone you've seen in the news. Whoever it is, let that person spontaneously show up as the face of God and walk into the room of your heart. Just be with them in that love. And now welcome all of those in your family with whom you feel close. And if there is no one in your biological family or immediate family, then bring in the members of your spiritual family. In fact, bring them in as well. The members of your spiritual family. Hold them in their heart. It's a big room that you have. They'll fit. Bring them in. Feel that connection. Look at the faces with your mind's eye. And now those of your larger community, where you live, your metro area or state, or those you've encountered as you walk down the street or through the grocery store. Bring them in as well. Invite them to this great gathering. Right now, I'm picturing the people we saw every morning, that we got to see regular faces every morning as we took our walk. Now, think of the people of Maui, those who have lost so much in this life recently. Even those who are no longer with us. You may not know the specific features of their faces, but just see their spirits and invite them into this great room and feel the love that connects all of you. And let's include in our prayers today the people of Baja, Mexico, Southern California, all the people who are looking to be in the path of the storm that's at present making its way forward as storms do. And we just see them surrounded in light and love and protection. And we bring in the people of Ukraine as well, particularly those who just experienced the recent bombing, the people of Ukraine, holding them in our hearts. And the people of Russia, to whom we say peace, my friends, peace. And now all of our human family. That's the wonderful thing about the room of your heart. It has room for everyone. Just see it filled with people from all over the world. Just as the faces, see the faces like the faces we just saw on the video from all around the world. And they are here for your message. And this is your message. Aloha. I love you with great kindness and tenderness. I am one with you, and we are one together. I honor what we have in common and our uniqueness that makes us different. I am who I am because you are who you are. And I can wait for eternity for us to unfold and grow and discover our wholeness together. And take a deep breath once again. And clear the room of your heart till there is nothing there but light. Watch all of those wonderful faces and forms dissolve into the light that is your true nature. The light of divine love, the light of aloha. And so it is. In the name and after the nature of the divine light that you are, by whatever name you give it, it's the perfect name. Because it is your true identity. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Laura. That was wonderful. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.